Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and now that the dust has settled on Celtic's derby draw yesterday, it's time to recap on a few things, including that game, and also awards night in Scotland, where we didn't only have the PFA awards, but of course the Celtic in-house awards ceremony as well. So a few things to catch up on today, a wee bit of an injury update on Nicholas Kuhn as well. It's the start of the week, and the storm has settled, so a quiet start. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. We are now 800 subscribers away from 50,000. Can we do it by the Scottish Cup final? Let's see. Go down below, hit those buttons. Shall we start with a recap on yesterday? Celtic drawing at Ibrox in the final derby of the season in a game that was instantly forgettable. So here it is in all of its glory. Celtic marching well on their way to a treble, as we know, but Rangers got a treble of their own. The we didn't lose to Celtic 3 times in a season treble. The cup for drawing at Ibrox is heading to... I feel it's such a Celtic day, I'm just going to shut up. But Celtic 17 points clear ahead of Rangers, still at the top of the Scottish Premiership table after 35 games played. There is 3 to go now, and Celtic could have made it an even bigger gap yesterday if we got the finger out, if we took our chances, but nonetheless, another game against Rangers where we don't win, and certainly lessons learned. I think we need to look at these last 3 derby games and put that behind us moving into the 2025-26 campaign. Now at the end of the day, I will die in the hill that Celtic won the games that mattered, and ultimately that's the most important thing. That's what matters most, is winning those games, the first of the season, which gets you a automatic momentum boost that gives you the psychological advantage. The cup final, where there is literally a trophy on the line. The derbies that Celtic won this season are ultimately the ones that mattered most, and the other ones don't really. But it's not an excuse. It doesn't mean that we can down tools. It doesn't mean that we can't go out there and play our best in all these games. We need to do that. And Brendan Rodgers, of course, spoke very openly about that in the last derby, and I'm sure that's still top of the agenda heading into the summer. The derby's done, the dust has settled. I'm not here to carry on any negativity from yesterday. I mean, if you watched my match reaction, you'll know I was pretty positive coming out of the game. There was things to critique, there was things to moan about, but it wasn't a result that was going to get me down or make me come on here every day of the week saying that somebody needs to go and the manager needs changed. And no, I'm okay. I'm looking forward to the last 3 games of the season. I'm looking forward to a potential treble. Things are very good at Celtic Football Club at the minute, but you would be naive to suggest that there isn't a need for some changes, that freshness isn't needed. That would be so naive and stupid, I think. There is clear areas that need to improve in this Celtic team, and ultimately complacency is what kills. Complacency is what costs you from going on and achieving bigger and better things, and Brendan Rodgers knows that, so he'll have a big summer ahead of him. I think that some Celtic players are a bit of a crossroads with their Celtic career. There's certainly areas in that team, both in the starting 11 and on the bench, that could do with renovation. So yeah, look, a lot of positivity coming into the end of the season, but a lot of thinking to be done about what comes next in the summer, because next year I think that we do need a little bit of freshness in there. What I will say is the first derby of next season will be at Ibrox, and we can't turn up there the way that we've played in the last couple games at Ibrox, so we need to be ready for that. We need to improve for that. Ultimately, when the pressure is on, Celtic seem to be the team that do a lot better than Rangers, so we'll see what happens come August, September time when that game approaches. But for now, I'm feeling good, and as I said, it's all positives, all smiles on the face of Ryan 118. The PFA Scotland awards ceremony was last night, the Players Football Association, where the Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year and Manager of the Year awards were handed out, and of course Celtic had nominees in all of those categories. Brendan Rodgers was up for Manager of the Year, Arne Engels was up for Young Player of the Year, and Dyson Maeda, alongside 2 other Celtic nominees, were up for Player of the Year. And despite only taking one of the 3 awards back to Celtic Park, it was a night to remember for the club, as Dyson Maeda was named officially the best player in Scotland. And listen, was there ever really any doubt? So there he was, collecting his awards, looking all dapper and happy. God bless Dyson Maeda, who had a great night following his success in the Celtic Awards ceremony too, which we'll come on to. The big one that a lot of people are complaining about is Brendan Rodgers being snubbed to John McGlynn for the Manager of the Year award. And I might surprise a lot of you with what I'm about to say here, because Brendan Rodgers, mega fan number one on camera, but I'm not surprised at this, and I'm not aggrieved by it either. I think it's perfectly normal for John McGlynn to be winning this, considering the season and success that Falkirk have seen. I don't think Brendan Rodgers will be particularly bothered either. At the end of the day, these personal achievements aren't anything of great significance, especially to Rodgers, whose main task is to win trophies. And if he's winning trebles, and should I say treble after treble, he's not going to be that fussed, I think, about missing out on this award, especially to John McGlynn, who, with all credit that he deserves, has had a fantastic season as Falkirk boss. I mean, to go out there and do what he's done with Falkirk is great. Do I think that surpasses the potential achievement of Brendan Rodgers winning a treble, and then you throw in the European campaign that he had? No, of course I don't. I think Celtic have had an all-round better season, but, you know, guys like John McGlynn, who is a former two-time winner respectively, deserve their moment in the sun and deserve their moments of success and glory. So Brendan Rodgers will win plenty of awards, and he has so much that he's already done in this career, and he's still at a young age for a manager when you consider things. I'm sure that he's going to have plenty more. It's not a big deal, and I've seen a lot of Celtic fans kicking up a fuss about it this morning. Guys, it's not you that's up for Manager of the Year. You don't need to feel hard done by. It's not the end of the world. And Lennon Miller was named Young Player of the Year. He beat Arne Engels to that, and I once again would say that's a fair enough decision. The big question now is, will Celtic try and sign the Young Player of the Year? Because they probably should. So Celtic also had their in-house awards ceremony. Of course, fans got the chance to vote for their Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, Goal of the Season, and Women's Player of the Year and Goal of the Season. All of those, plus a few more awards, were given out. Here was the list in its entirety. Academy Player of the Year went to Kyle Ure. Young Player of the Year was Arne Engels. Women's Goal of the Season and Men's Goal of the Season went to Shannon McGregor and Cameron Carter-Vickers, respectively. Women's Player of the Year was Celia Barclays. Men's Player of the Year was Dyson Maeda. The top scorer awards, of course, went out to the two current top scorers on each side. Women's Player of the Year ended up being Shannon McGregor, and Men's Player of the Year was Dyson Maeda. Of course, men's Players Player of the Year as well. And James Forrest was given the annual Special Recognition Award for becoming Celtic's most decorated player in its history. So congratulations to James Forrest for such an achievement. Once again, I've said it a couple of times since we won the league about him becoming the most decorated player, and being recognised for that. What I did think was, if we didn't win those two trophies this season and James Forrest didn't become the most decorated player, I wondered who the Special Recognition Award would have went to. Who's he beat in the last week to win that? That's what I want to know. So Nicholas Kuhn didn't make it back into the Celtic team yesterday. He still remained injured, despite Brendan Rodgers suggesting he could have made it for the derby, but he was left out, and Brendan Rodgers gave a little bit of more context following the game surrounding his current predicament. He said he hadn't trained all week and he'd done some work with the medical team. He's just got a real soreness in his knee. He got the clash last week against Dundee United. We tried to give him every chance. Hopefully he'll be ready for the next game. So Nicholas Kuhn missing out on training for the entire week with knee injury, a knee problem, a minor knee injury. Hopefully back for next week. Nothing too serious, so don't get overly concerned about it, but that's the reason that he missed out yesterday. Right then, that does it for today's video. If you've enjoyed, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about everything that's going on, so bear with me as we wait for some news to drop, hopefully. And until then, please take care of yourself, God bless, and I'll see you all next time.